So I really like this sir's class. I have been. He hasn't taught me this BSc classes Bharatiya Sakshi Adhiniyam, but I really like it. So the Indian Evidence Act is now called or has been turned into Bharatiya Sakshi Adhiniyam. So, introduction to BSA. The Evidence Act or the Bharatiya Sakshi Adhiniyam is a procedural law, and this procedural law is the law of the forum. It is also known as Lex Fori. That means जहाँ का फोरम होगा वहाँ का लॉ अप्लाई किया जाएगा. लाइक अगर इंडियन कोर्ट्स में है देन इंडियन कोर्ट के लॉ अप्लाई होंगे, जैसे कि इंडियन कोर्ट्स के अकॉर्डिंग लॉज अप्लाई होंगे. That's why it is known as the lex fori, which is a Latin term. That means law of the forum. Now, the procedural law has a particular nature that procedural laws have retrospective effect. That means on which day law has been enforced, the law will be applied from the date of the enforcement, and it will be applied on the pending matters also. Like as we can see on the section 170 of BSA Bharatiya Sakshi Adhiniyam. Now I am going to open it. Section 170, which is the act of the section 170 of the Bharatiya Sakshi Adhiniyam 2023. It talks about the repeal and savings. So the subsection 1 states the Indian Evidence Act 1872 is hereby repealed. Now the Indian Evidence Act, which was the 1872 Act, now has been repealed. Notwithstanding such repeal, if immediately before the date on which this adhiniyam comes into force there is any application, trial, inquiry, investigation, proceeding or appeal pending, then such application, trial, inquiry, investigation, proceeding or appeal shall be dealt with under the provisions of the Indian Evidence Act 1872 as in force immediately before such commencement, as if this adhiniyam had not come into force. So here as if is a legal fiction. Like as if is talking about the Indian Evidence Act. It is not here, but it is presumed to be here. And notwithstanding means it is a non-obstantive clause overriding effect. Now we will understand what does it mean by that. So clause 1 of section 170 talks about that Indian Evidence Act. Subsection 1 talks about that the Indian Evidence Act 1872 has been repealed. And subsection 2 talks about although the Indian Evidence Act 1872 is repealed, all cases pending before the commencement of the new adhiniyam, it means commencement of the Bharatiya Sakshi Adhiniyam 2023, before it all pending cases shall continue to be governed by the old act, which is Indian Evidence Act, as if the new law had not come into force. It means all the before the Bharatiya Sakshi Adhiniyam 2023 came into force, like Bharatiya Sakshi Adhiniyam 2023 has been came into force on 2023. Now the cases pending before 2023 will be governed by the Indian Evidence Act. Indian Evidence Act had a retrospective effect before, but as it is a procedural laws, all procedural laws are particularly retrospective effect, but Bharatiya Sakshi Adhiniyam has been given a prospective effect. Okay. Now we will talk about I have written some of the notes on section 170. Section 170 specifically provides that Bharatiya Sakshi Adhiniyam 2023 is prospective in application. Generally, procedural laws have retrospective effect, and they apply from and on all pending matters also. But as per Section 170 BSA, even though the BSA repeals the Indian Evidence Act, the repeal is only with prospective effect, and any matters which were pending before 1st July 2024, the Indian Evidence Act will still be applicable. Section 170 subsection 2 has created a legal fiction, and the Indian Evidence Act will be deemed to be applicable on all pending matters. The provision uses the terms notwithstanding, which implies that it has been given an overriding effect over the repeal of the Indian Evidence Act. So overall, as we understood before, that Indian Evidence Act talks about Section 170 Bharatiya Sakshi Adhiniyam 2023 has retrospective in application. It means it will be applicable only after all matters. It will be applicable on the matters only after it came into force, not the matters before BSA, Bharatiya Sakshi Adhiniyam. On the matters which are pending before BSA, the Indian Evidence Act will be applied as per the Section 170 of subsection 2 of BSA.